Right, no, you're right. I was moving to Blair next, and I had let Carolyn know as well. I hadn't written it on my piece of paper. Welcome, Blair.
Thank you.
In fact, 3 people let me know that you were here because I can't see the back row. Thanks so much for providing the report. It's really good. Lots of great information in it. And so if you'd like to give us the highlights, and then we'll have any questions from councillors.
E te mana whenua tēnā koutou, e te kahui amorangi tēnā koutou katoa. Now, the material that's contained within this report, it's a selection of Gallery's annual visitor highlights or information from our 360-degree surveys for the last financial year, and the report is compiled is a compilation of our visitor survey responses and its insights that are collected by Gallery staff throughout the year. And it's compiled by an organisation called Morris Hargraves McIntyre, and they're an international consultancy that work in this area for heritage and cultural organisations around the world. And the report was compiled in August 2021. So quite quickly, it's a snapshot of visitor numbers, origins, demographics, satisfaction levels, diversity, visitors to Christchurch, propensity to return and recommend, intentional versus incidental visitations, outcomes versus motivations, age and gender. But also included in the report is information on the wellbeing benefits of a visit to the gallery, and an overview of the success of the gallery's retail offering over the past financial year. And I've also included an update on this financial year's education and public program numbers, a little update on acquisitions and exhibitions, data on our website and social media, information on our volunteer hours and the support that we have from supporter organisations, and overview of our capital program, and finally an update on the Karaka Museum as well. And of course, I'm not going to go through every aspect of the report, but I'd just like to mention a couple of areas of interest, and then of course I'm happy to answer any questions you might have. The overall visitor number for 2021 was 303,245. 55% of this audience were from Christchurch, and 35% were from elsewhere in New Zealand. Of course, our international tourist numbers aren't what they used to be, and in the past, in an average good year, that's probably about 40% of our visitation was international. Our satisfaction rate continues to be extremely high at 98% rating. Their visitors excellent or very good. And the average visitor spends 1 hour and 19 minutes in the gallery, which is an increase of 2 minutes, which doesn't sound a lot, but if you add that over the times of the number of visitors, it's hundreds of hours additional time in the gallery. And 16% of visits were made by groups that include children, and that represents about 37,000 visitors, and it's a 13% increase on the previous year. 6% of our visitors identified as Māori, up from the 2% the previous year. And in real term, that represents an 8% increase from 5,000 to 13,000. And just jumping forward into motivations on that line, 6% of visitors identifying as Māori, 1 in 10% of visitors to the gallery, 9%, visited the gallery to make a connection with Māori culture through art, but the result is actually 27% of our visitors reported on making that particular connection. 45% of non-local visitors identify the gallery as an important factor in their decision to visit Christchurch, and 30% of local visitors cited the gallery as the main reason to visit the CBD. 63% of visits are planned in advance and intentional, opposed to incidental. And 73% of our visitors would definitely recommend a visit, which is an increase in real terms of over 30,000 people on the previous year. So the report also surveys visitor motivations for attending the gallery, and you can see that there's a range of things there. I think one of the interesting ones for me is that is the figure I gave you on Māori culture through art and connecting with that. But you can see there's a range of reasons that galleries visited, our galleries visited, and they're social, intellectual, emotional, and spiritual. And you can see through that graph the changes over the last year. Something we've been really interested in looking at is the effects on wellbeing of visit to Christchurch Art Gallery, and it's something that we've been surveying over the last year or so. So 52% of visits strongly agree they felt happy having visited the gallery, and this is a significant increase when compared to 41% of visits that strongly agreed with the statement thinking back before. So they had an 11% increase in well-being from a visit to the gallery. Of particular note is that visitors that identifying as Māori over-indexed in this area, with 65% strongly agreeing they felt happy post-visit compared to 37% pre-visit. And there's a whole lot more information there. And what we're working on at the moment is working with a couple of international consultants to actually, if we can quantify that value of well-being. So what does that well-being visit to a gallery actually represent in dollar terms? And we're doing some really good work in that, but that'll be in a future report. Just moving quickly through, you can see, just jumping ahead to retail, the shop, despite the travel restrictions and social restrictions over the last year, the shop's been doing really well. We increased the footprint of the shop just before Christmas last year. And even this year, the gallery shop is 40% above target for this time of the year. And that's a real result of the amount of merchandise and publications that we're making around our exhibitions program. And one of the key for that at the moment is the Flying Nun exhibition and the Bill Hammond exhibition, which are driving some really good shop spending. Moving to education and public program numbers, we've had 230, and this is this financial year, that's 2,343 school children taking part, and these students represent 54 individual schools. We are really forecasting about 17% reduction overall this coming financial year because of COVID and the uncertainties around that, and also a very similar decline in public programming, which we believe will be about 22% because we just can't do big events. Curatorial and collections, we've added 56 works of art to the collection, and 36 of these works have come into the collection as gifts. And 22 works from the Christchurch City's collection have been lent to other galleries to include in their own exhibition programs. I'll just jump forward now to our supporters. The gallery currently has a team of 48 volunteers managed through our Education and Public Programs Department, and collectively our volunteer team has accumulated 505 hours of service, delivered over 160 separate occasions, and have assisted with 46 school sessions. Again, these numbers are well down on where we would expect them to be, primarily because of COVID. In terms of our supporters, this year marks the 50th anniversary of the Friends of Christchurch Art Gallery, formerly the Friends of the Robert McDougall Gallery. And the Friends Committee consists of 8 volunteer members who employ, at their own cost, a 0.5 FTE to assist with all of their activities to support the gallery and their membership. And to celebrate the 50th anniversary, the Friends Committee has raised approximately $80,000 to support the purchase of works for the collection. And there's currently 900 Friends of Christchurch Art Gallery Friends group, and that's up from 820 the previous year. Of course, the Christchurch Art Gallery Foundation has a committee of 11 individuals all volunteering their time to raise funds and support the gallery. And the foundation directly employs 1.5 FTE contractors to manage the gallery's sponsorship relationships with a range of local businesses, and supporting the foundation's goal of building a $5 million endowment to aid acquisitions in the future. Just jumping ahead to Karaka Museum, it's their financial year, they had 24,500 visitors throughout the year. It was a really positive result for them given border closures and no internationals coming in. And they've also had really successful year last year in terms of education groups and school visits, and I think they had 900 students visiting the museum over that period. So that's just a really quick snapshot, but I'm really happy to answer any questions.
Really quick, really thorough though. So questions from people, Yanni, and then Andrew, then Jimmy.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the report and the work that you've been doing. I think I asked this last time we had the report. is do you get any sense of the geographic areas from where people are coming and also the schools? Like, do we know from like the Decile Index which schools are participating or?
Yes, I've included some decile information in the written report. I haven't broken it down to actual schools, but we've included numbers from each decile's area or range. And we do get assistance through an organisation called CADFAS that makes funding available for lower decile schools for bus support. And that hasn't been taken up a lot in the last year. Just again, our numbers in the school program are down from where we want them to be. In terms of visitors across New Zealand, we generally break them up into the areas that are shown here, which is Christchurch and beyond. Yep.
Is there any way to track where people are going from across the city?
I'll have to look at that. I'm not sure if we collect postcodes or not. I could look into that. Yep.
Yeah.
It might be in the larger amount of data that we have.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay, thanks. Andrew.
Thank you. Blair, thanks very much for the report. Thanks for the work that you and the staff at the gallery and the Karaka Museum are doing in what continues to be very challenging situations. Referring to paragraph 4.6 in the report, increase in the number of Maori visitors and an increase, as you said in the presentation, around people making connection with Maori culture through art. Were there particular exhibitions or activities that drove that, or has that been happening organically?
It's a deliberate decision in our programming through exhibitions like it's the recent collection Hang Te Wheki, and also the temporary exhibitions program like the big Ralph Hortery touring show. So it's something that we're actively working on in terms of programming and interpretation, and most of our exhibitions include te reo signage, etc. now as well. So it's a planned approach. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jimmy, then Pauline.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for your comprehensive report. Well done. I only ask one question. 4.1. The particular after the COVID lockdown, compared to these 2 years, 2019, 20, and 20 to 21, the overall the visa figure you increase around the 10%. However, you have public program increased maybe 150. What kind of program attracted all those people in order to be attracted, would like to visit the art gallery as the main reason to visit the Christchurch CBD?
It's a good question. I mean, it's a bit challenging, some of those numbers, because of days open were different in both years because of lockdown periods. But we've been doing a lot of active programming and public programs, ensuring that we can do large events that attract thousands of people too. So it's a combination of active public programs and hopefully an engaging exhibitions program.
Thank you.
Thank you. Pauline.
Oh, thank you. Kia ora, Blair. I'm just looking at page 129 and 11.5, the couple of lines there about the landfill gas and your concern about what will happen with the reduction of that supply. And I just want to know, are you, is council staff working with you and keeping you in the loop, or are you feeling...
Oh, no, actively
they are
kept in the loop. Yes, yeah, no, we're working with Bruce's team all the time. No, it's a very active, ongoing program.
It's Bruce,
it's
you'll
just,
be fine.
it looks like it needs to come forward a little bit earlier. Yeah.
Yeah. Certainly, and one of the reasons why we've suggested a change to the annual plan to bring it forward, particularly for this building, is so that we Blair's needs are a bit more complex than this building, so we want to try and preserve as much gas as possible for Blair's needs, because the needs for the art gallery are technically more complex, but we are actively working on that. In fact, I've been reading some stuff on that this morning.
Right, good to know.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Any further questions? Anne.
Yeah, kia ora. Blair, thanks for the excellent report. It's very comprehensive and actually really positive. considering what you've been through and going through, and only 17% down on numbers of children coming through. That's remarkable.
Great, yeah.
But the decile 1 to 3, one of the barriers that you've identified is the transport, getting those schools into the gallery. Are there any other barriers that are preventing them from coming in? Because these are kids that we really want to have an experience of the gallery.
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, it's a really complex question. We do make available, as I said, we work with an organisation that provides funds for those buses that can come in. But it's a continual process of communicating that that's an option. And I think just it's like all schools are overwhelmed with other issues and things to deal with at the moment. So we're always working on it, and we're always looking at new ways that we can kind of tell that story.
Second question, if I may, thank you for that. The economic value of wellbeing, and how you measure that's interesting. What more can you tell us about that?
We're just working, it's very kind of early days. We're working with a couple of consultants who are very interested in this space, and they're using our data, and we're working with them. And it's quantifying the economic value, so that if you can quantify the improvement in wellbeing through a visit to the gallery, that has a health benefit impact. I mean, one simple thing is counting the number of steps that people walk on a visit in their hour and a half, 20 minutes to the gallery. So how many thousand steps does a visitor take? So there's quite simple formulas that you can work through. So yeah, it's early days, but we're making some good progress on it. Yeah.
Thanks so much. We get to the end of questions. So if would anyone like to move this one? Pauline, Jimmy, you're too late for second. So Jimmy's seconding. Pauline and Jimmy. Okay, thanks so much.
Thank you.
It was really good.
Got it.
Okay, any debate? No. Oh, Jimmy.
Just quickly, this very, very good, positive the presentation. Well done, particularly regarding to the figure. It's attractive. It's attractive people, local and non-local. Non-local 45% would like to visit the Christchurch CBD because due to we have this art gallery. But local people 30%, and also you attractive, diverse people. Your age is very, very kind of balanced. From young people, kids, from elderly people, very, very evenly. To distribute. Well done. Also, ethnicity also is kind of diverse. I never seen this kind of report before. This is our vision, because our vision is Christchurch is a city of opportunity for all. Welcome all the people. The new idea, new people. It's our idea, but you make that happen. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And with that, I'll put the motion. All those in favour, please say aye.
Aye.
Any against? Declare that carried. Thank you so much for coming over. Right, so now we move to the Heritage Incentive Grant Fund applications. So welcome.